name is Elizabeth Barlet. I'm a general OBGYN physician in private practice in Missouri. I'm a fetal alcohol spectrum disorder physician champion for ACOG, and I'm the mother of a child with fetal alcohol syndrome. 22 years ago, I adopted a 15-month-old baby from Russia. In his medical history, I knew that there had been prenatal alcohol exposure, but even as an OBGYN, the thought of fetal alcohol syndrome never crossed my mind, and it never occurred to my pediatrician. It wasn't until 2003 when I was encouraged to attend training to teach other healthcare professionals about fetal alcohol syndrome that I realized, as I sat in those training sessions, that everything I was learning described my child. And so it was after that he was evaluated by an FASD diagnostic team, and our diagnosis of fetal alcohol syndrome was made at the age of 8. My young child with fetal alcohol syndrome has matured into a young man with fetal alcohol syndrome. And I look back on that time and I think, well, had I known about fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, would that have changed my decision? Well, absolutely not. But I do think if I had been more aware of and more educated about fetal alcohol syndrome and fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, it would have made those early years that we had much less frustrating. We kept being told this will all even out by the 3rd grade before we had our diagnosis and realized some of the things that we could be doing. And he was very frustrated during that time as well, knowing how to modify the learning environment, knowing how to modify the environment at home to maximize his success and minimize his distress would have been helpful to know. And so I think the earlier we can help parents intervene and make those changes, the better it is for children and the better it is for parents. So I think in part that's our role as OBGYNs, is to not only prevent alcohol-exposed pregnancies, but to work with our patients who may be parenting children who have a disability. As OBGYNs, we have a vital opportunity to intervene with the women we care for. We're seeing them at a point in their life, referring to pregnancy, where they're highly motivated to make change. Consistently relaying the message of no safe time, no safe type, and no safe amount of alcohol during pregnancy is vital. In working with the patient who had been using alcohol in the early part of pregnancy, watching her at each visit come back and being so empowered by the fact that it had been 4 weeks, another 4 weeks, and she hadn't used any alcohol, and watching her as that pregnancy progressed and culminated in delivery, and how proud of herself she was, and what an honor it was to be part of that process and walk through that process with her. And that really resonated with me